I just decided, no, this is too much. I was scared also, like, you know, it was a really hell-like kind of realm I was in, out of nowhere. Like before it was so high up, and then this hellish realm, like I also saw kind of demons around, and was just this feeling like it's gone, it's done, you know, you can't go back.
Alicia, a very warm welcome. Thank you for being with us. Very excited to hear your story. Where does it begin?
So it begins born in Berlin 30 years ago. I was raised in a Catholic family, but at this point didn't really have a living relationship to God. It was more like an religious kind of frame that my family gave. And still I had moments in prayer where I really felt that there was this fatherly love for me. And looking back at this time, there was already planted seeds for what was going to come in my long journey to find the love of Christ.
Beautiful. And so we're talking earlier about your journey, and there's so much in it, and we're going to do a deeper dive into just this video to really give it the time it deserves. But where does it begin in terms of your spiritual seeking? So you started off Catholic, you had this journey.
Yes, so growing up in this very kind of crazy Berlin environment, there was always this purpose for me to belong. That was a very urgent need. I was kind of seeking from very early age, having a certain history, family background-wise. And so belonging was about friendship cycles, going out, partying, dancing all night, feeling this kind of almost rebellious joy and freedom in the nights in Berlin. And starting to seek really like aliveness, which at this point I didn't see anymore. Going to church sometimes on the weekend. It was kind of this knowing that a relationship to God would be filled with joy, and I didn't see it at this point in church. So, I started to drink alcohol and smoke weed also, and this kind of opened up an awareness for the spiritual realm, kind of. Just a slow start, and I had this, just this seeking inside of me that there was something more, some more purpose, some more meaning to it all. And I started to ask questions also in the psychological approach. And at one point, my father was telling me at this time about his experiences he made in India. And it kind of awoke a very, just this ask for what is the mysterious kind of background of life. And I decided to go to India after my graduating, so being 19 years old. My father gifted me with this journey to go together with him to India, first Bangladesh, then India. And I continued there to travel 5 more months with a friend of mine. And it was just such an explosive time for me to realize that spirituality can be lived in a very open, everywhere obvious way. And it really sparked like this, the seeking in me. And I started to get to know yoga, meditation, the path of enlightenment. I met, very deeply spiritual, yogic people on the Kumbh Mela, which is an Indian festival. Very big, very mystical. And it just started sparking in me this joy of kind of a different freedom that I had not experienced before. And through this kind of knowing, India, I wanted to know more, and I started studying Indian culture for 1 year. And in this time period, I was living in Leipzig, and I had, during smoking weed and connecting to more spiritual aware people, friends, a kind of spiritual awakening. where I just realized, wow, I am so much more than I thought I am, and reality is so much more multidimensional. Existence was coming into, realization to me. And from that point on, I was totally on to enlightenment. That was my highest goal, my mission. So after 1 year in Leipzig studying Indian culture, I decided to go back to India on my own. I was 20 years old and just going deeply into the path of enlightenment. Doing different styles of yoga and also Kundalini yoga. And then I met, while living on the beach in the southern part of India, a guru whom I fell in love with. And he was kind of guiding me after the time for like a time period of 2 months, just the two of us, into really deep practice of different spiritual practices. For example, Qigong, yoga, Kundalini meditation, pranayama, fasting. And he really tried to kind of break down my identity so that I could be more aware of the one God inside of all. And it kind of happened in such a way that I really lost contact to whom I was, who I thought I would be at this point, early years, 20 years only, young. And I had this experience at one point, going deeper and deeper, also breaking off kind of contact with my family, that I had like this Kundalini awakening, I would call it. It was just a power that came and that was so radical and kind of broke the contact to this guru. He pushed him kind of energetical and out of the room. And for 2 days, I was just by myself, diving more and more into spirit realm and losing more and more contact to reality. So much so that, I was just not able to take care of myself anymore. And at this point, this friend came back. He called my father, who came one day after, took me to Germany. And there I went to a German psychiatry, closed one. And it was a very strong cut to what I was living like before. And it was kind of like all this opening that was happening just closed like this rapidly. It was such a harsh cut that I kind of lost contact also to this spirit realm completely. And of course, through this state of psychosis, I kind of started also stigmatizing myself as this just being kind of a sickness, kind of something that I really have to get rid of, to fit into society again, because this was the approach of the doctors around me, of course, and also my family and everyone. And so I was really like in an identity crisis also, and really depressive, really suicidal thoughts at this point. It took like 1 year to kind of, through therapy, kind of build me up from scratch. And there was not much actually that I desired from life. Like, I didn't know what the meaning was now, since that enlightenment kind of goal just vanished. And so the only thing I could actually think of this point was dancing. So dancing was kind of always through childhood something that really kept me on going, that I enjoyed, that I was good at. And I decided to do a dancing choreography and dance teacher training for 1 year intense. And started to kind of get into my body back. That was also a mission I had in mind, to really be embodied, kind of, which I also then deepened doing called a training called holistic body work and dancing therapy. So I did trainings in that. And at the same time, deepening my kind of spiritual, but also human evolving, through connection, through workshops, training, meeting people. But in these times, there were collapses again, where my longing for the spirit realm became stronger again. And I really wanted to go deep again because I had this seeking to the deepness of reality that I already experienced before. And through these seeking, I met also people who were very mystical themselves, and especially a shaman who really influenced me, whom I had a kind of a rapé ritual together. So rapé is shamanic treatment kind of, where the shaman has like a sort of stick that's is not filled inside, and he blows a strong tobacco through the nose into, and it goes like, the idea is that it's cleaning up like the third eye and the crown chakra, and like opening you to the spirit realm. And this happened. From this point on, I was really like feeling the connection to the earth, like really kind of seeing the nature spirits, like the trees, especially. I had a strong connection to trees. I had strong kind of even dialogue with these nature beings, with the elements, with, feeling really one with Mother Earth. And from that time on, I kind of started to go into this shamanic path where I kind of had the idea that I could connect the spirit realm that I had experienced before, like outside of reality, inside nature. So this kind of connection, spirit realm and nature embodiment kind of approach. And I developed a deep love for Mother Earth. Also, I started to do Women's Circle. I met a very dear friend of mine at this time who was kind of supporting me on my path, and we were holding Women's Circle together. We were embodying the female energy, the Shakti, the goddess kind of archetype, and really having a deep love for Mother Earth and doing rituals. I built my own shamanic drum together with her, and we were just doing what we thought is like a healing for the earth, to rebirth the new world, the new earth. That was our idea. So also through self-healing and cleansing and doing rituals for the earth with our blood, with our sisters, giving back to the earth, as a gift, because we had, that was my thought, had taken so much from Mother Earth, and that she's actually a being worthy of, adoration and love. And through this experience, I also connected to Mary Magdalene. I was on a rosary path, I would say. And already then, through all these layers, already Christ came in sometimes, through this love of Mary Magdalene for Christ. Although at this point, I thought she was kind of his wife. So they had a love relationship. That was my idea back then. And I really, I felt the love for Christ already, but my view on him was very different. I saw him more like beholding Christ consciousness, not him being God, but seeing him as an avatar-like being, one of many, who reached enlightenment in the earth during his life. So that was my idea, kind of. And that was also my ideal, kind of, to reach enlightenment myself, to heal the earth and to be one again with the universe, with everything, But through this deep seeking, I kind of lost contact to reality again and again. So I had like 3 times again where I had these kind of psychotic states where I was not able to take care of myself anymore, where I was depending on the help, especially from my parents. Like, they were so supportive in this time. Without them, I wouldn't be here anymore. Like, they were really carrying me through, and of course, I went to many therapy approaches, many medicating, many, psychoanalytic, kind of rewinding my past as being a child growing up and dealing with those traumatic experiences I had, sexual things, abuses, like different things I thought I would have to heal to be healthy, you know. So like a self-healing journey also. Just recently, was kind on in a stable position again after a psychosis. And, so at this point I was, doing a rebirth ceremony with a friend, whom recommended me this as a kind of, bringing together all the layers that I experienced in my life and, kind of bringing my soul really into the body, having this rebirth experience, which is kind of a prophetic thing because it happened really afterwards. So, through this, again, I reached a very spiritual realm, while meditating. It was actually the day, we celebrate in Germany when Christ was crucified. So I really kind of, connected with his suffering this day. I really went to silence. I didn't eat. I was meditating the whole day. And I reached this point where I was so feeling connected to Christ that I had the impression that I am an incarnate of him, like a rebirth. That I'm an avatar like Christ is, you know. And there I had a calling, which was kind of drawing me to fulfill my mission. And my mission was, as you heard already, to reach enlightenment. But now it was not only for my sake, but I had this impression I had to do it to heal and free the whole earth. So a little bit compared to what Christ really did for us, I had this impression I would have to reach this point. So after celebrating Easter on the Sunday, I said goodbye to my parents. They were very alarmed because I was already in a very kind of spiritual state. I drove out with my car and just said, guide me to the place I should do my mission. And there I had this point where I was sitting in the forest and like really trying to reach enlightenment right now. So I was kind of in meditation and just piercing, like really focusing kind of my spirit into this one point, you know, like pointing. And I don't know how long I have done it actually. I don't know, but it was quite some time. And just at some moment, it just dropped kind of. And I realized I can't do it by myself. Like I'm not able to do this. I'm just not able. And it was a shock, you know, because this was actually kind of my life destiny, what I thought in this moment. And so, there kicked in a kind of desperation, which I consider now being really influenced by really dark energies and voices, what I would also call the devil kind of, because the thought that immediately came like, you have failed, you're a failure, like this is your mission and you have failed, you know, it's gone, like the worth of your life kind of is gone. And it was so strong, the voices, you know, like coming, telling me, and also signs that I interpreted in this way. I just remember like a big sign where it was stated ego, and it was just so big. And I felt like kind of spirit was telling me that my ego is too big. I can't do it. I messed it up kind of. And I went back to the place I have put my stuff, and it was already almost nighttime. And there the kind of thoughts and those voices were stronger and stronger. You have to finish it. Go, let go, just
finish it as in yourself and your life.
Yes, exactly. Like you failed. It would be good for the people around you to actually leave this earth, you know, like because then at least maybe you can take away some of the pain if you try to kill yourself, because I was still kind of in this Christ-like archetype. So it was also the thought like I would help maybe if I would kill myself. But then I just decided, no, this is too much. I was scared also, like, you know, it was a really hell-like kind of realm I was in, out of nowhere. Like before I was so high up, and then this hellish realm, like I also saw kind of demons around, and was just this feeling like it's gone, it's done, you know, you can't go back. And I decided to drive home, which was kind of my solution or fleeing also from this darkness. And while driving, it was early in the morning, I just felt I can't drive. Like I'm so wasted, kind of. I'm in my car, and I just drove out in this parking lot, and yeah. So there was a man actually helping me. He offered me help. He was calling my mother, and from this place 5 hours away from Berlin, she was picking me up. She kind of knew this kind of situations already. She was picking me up. He was really taking care of me, this very nice man. And my mother bringing me back home. And while sitting in the car with her, I started to see the devil in her. And actually everything she kind of did in a loving, caring way, I started to interpret as, Elisa, it's time now. I help you that you can go now, like leave this earth. Yeah.
Right. So it's like you're sensing a demonic push to kind of end it all. Even though your mother's lovingly trying to help you, there's a twisting of interpretation of end it all.
And she brought me home. She's a medical doctor, so she got calming medication, and like bathed me, fed me, put me in bed, you know, and I was actually in this beautiful place at home. And then she just went out for a moment, and I was by myself, and I really kind of saw the devil in front of me and just saying, it's time now, do it. It's time. And I didn't have my own will at this point. I was kind of also had this impression that I would do a favor to everyone around me if I would just go, you know. And And then I just went out to get the pills, and I took them all and laid in bed and just waited for death. And just 2 minutes later, my mother came in, saw the pill bottle, and realized what I just did. And she brought me into toilet, tried to get it all out, called the ambulance, and I was back in psychiatry. And kind of this death struggle went on for almost a week. I tried to, with different methods, I made up myself, because there was actually nothing harmful where I was, to end it. And fortunately it didn't work out, and they brought me in a very, a place I already knew. It's like more holistic, psychosomatic place where I recovered quite quickly. And that was actually, the slowest point in my life where I really, was down on my knees. And I remember being this one time in my room in the nighttime, and there was so much darkness and so much hopelessness and so much just wasted life, it felt, that I kind of started to pray. And it was a relief. I remember that this night I could sleep well again, and there was a peace. But since I had no idea about that there is this healthy kind of relationship to spirituality, I was still thinking it's only the shamanic path. It's only this enlightenment path that there is to come closer to God. Anyways, so at this point where I was in this psychosomatic therapy home, I decided I have to do something that is the most grounding I can imagine. And that for me was to work in agriculture. And I started a biodynamic training to do biodynamic gardening. I lived on a anthroposophic farm close by Berlin. And at this farm, I was working 8 to 10 hours just on the ground in the fields, like harvesting and planting. And also it was a very fulfilling time. I was milking a cow and every day, and I was very happy. I thought like this is kind of a healthy, grounded way of living and permaculture kind of connection to life, and that I could do something with my own hands, which is actually helping also the earth and the people around me. And there, this family had a picture of the Last Supper in wooden picture just above the table we were sitting for lunch every day. And also they were singing Christian songs. And and I started to pray the rosary again, which was kind of a thing I knew back then when I was a Catholic, or when I grew up Catholic. And at this point I started to really say, God, like, I know you're there, but I really want to know the truth now. I'm ready to know the truth, and I'm ready to also like surrender it all. I have no idea, but I was ready, really. And quite just some days after this prayer, I had a vision while meditating that I should do a pilgrimage through southern Germany. And while envisioning it, I knew I had to quit this job and really straight do this pilgrimage. And I'm kind of a radical person, so of course I did it. I quit there. And I said, yes, I want to find the truth. I went on this pilgrimage, 3 weeks I planned for it. And in this trip, I planned already to visit some Christian, pilgrimage places. And also I was praying and really seeking kind of a connection again. But this time I was really grounded. I was really taking care well of myself. And I got in contact with an old friend of mine, who used to support me as a shaman in my, psychotic states also. And I knew that he was now living in Bavaria. And so I got in contact with him and I could come to his place. And when I saw him again, I realized he changed. And I was so joyful to see him again. And he brought me to the place where he's staying now, with a woman together. And she actually, knew Christ. Like, she was the first person to really opening this state of realization that you can actually know Christ. Like, it's about Christ. She was so much in Christ, like in love with Christ. And still she had this connection to healing. Like, she also went through an quite deep healing journey. So we really had beautiful conversations going really deep about what Christ is for her and really opening up for this love. And she was the one telling me, you have to meet my friend Nikolai. I know this is very important. And so after saying goodbye to them, I went on a journey like 1 week long. And while being on this journey, I actually also had contact with a shaman I got to know before on a yoga festival. And he did a spiritual reading for me. And this was kind of very interesting because he really said true things about me, about seeing my spirit and stuff. And he was saying from himself that he would be led by Christ as his spirit guide. So I kind of thought, oh wow, this man is kind of the answer, you know, he's connecting my shaman path, my love for nature with Christ. And it was kind of this idea that, yes, I should connect with him. And he was offering me a 3 years training, only 16,000 euros. And I was really kind of interested. And so much so that I actually decided to do it. And on this right day where I should have signed the contract for the 3 years program, I met Nikolai. And I went to his home and we connected just right away very much. We shared our stories, and I got to know him as also a seeker of truth, being in the spiritual field a lot. Like, he was even also very much working as shamanic, having shamanic experiences. And on this one experience, he met Christ. And it was just the way he talked about him. He's now following also Christ for a long time period. It's just, it overwhelmed me. Like, this love he had, also I could see in his eyes, there was such a clarity, there was such a purity and beauty. And in this one moment, he was talking about Christ to me, and he was just opening the arms and just looking at me. And at this moment, I felt really Jesus Christ was speaking through him. He was kind of the channel. And I was just overwhelmed when he said, Elisa, I know you're looking for liberation. You're looking for freedom. I have this for you, and I'm giving this for free. You don't have to enslave yourself or anything. I'm just giving this to you. And at this moment, it was like a wave of love coming over me, like I have never felt before. And I can feel it right now. I get goosebumps. It was such an overwhelming feeling of love, of peace. And I realized this is the truth. This Jesus Christ I have been looking for all my life. And it was just this deepness, this richness, this realization, and tears coming out, pouring out also for my friend. We were crying together, and I just realized in this moment, this is the answer to it all. This is the truth. He is the way, the truth, the life. And I knew right away that the gospel is true, the Bible is true, everything I heard in my childhood is true. And it was overwhelming. Really much. This was a life-changing moment for sure. And yes, after that experience, everything kind of evolved very quickly. So this was just 14 months ago. And on my journey, still being there in southern Germany, meeting Christ, I decided right away I'm not doing the shamanic training. Of course not. I said a no to the shaman. And the next step was that I encountered the Holy Spirit, who was really revealing truth inside of me through a song I put on Spotify just randomly. I didn't know anything about it. Yeshua, from Jesus' Image. And I was listening to it 3 hours in a row in my car, crying, being broken down because I just was overwhelmed by the love of God, who was showing me so kindly, so lovingly, how he was supporting me all my life, protecting me from the worst things to happen, to how he kind of showed me his love all my life, And I was just so broken down because I realized I have prayed to the wrong gods. I have prayed to demons, like all this Hinduism and Hinduistic yogic kind of lifestyle I was living before. It was just the wrong direction, kind of. And at the same time, I realized it was a preparation. It was a purification process. Or maybe this is more what I realize now, that I was really prepared to encompass his love, kind of. And on this journey, after crying for 3 hours listening to this Yeshua song, I was called out to a parking spot, which was called House of the Shepherd. And there I realized that he kind of gave me the opportunity to decide right now, do I really want to follow Jesus? And I looked around in my car and I realized all this spiritual ritual stuff I had, like mantras, CDs, goddess statues, Buddha statue, like my self-made shamanic drum, incense, lots of stuff, just my whole car full of it. And it was kind of a struggle, of course, because this was my identity. This was what I kind of, did the last kind of 10 years in my life. But I just had this immense love and trust in Christ that this step is needed and that this step is the right decision. I'm just reminded of how he said to Peter, come and follow me, while he is in the Bible, this part where Peter is fishing and Jesus just says, come and follow me. And this was kind of my invitation at this moment. And I decided, yes, I want to trust in him. And I threw away everything. This car was empty, completely empty. And I felt such a relief. I felt an immense peace. And a kind of funny thing is that a woman just passed by. I have no idea how she knew even, but she said, well done. And I sat in my car and I think, yes, well done. Wow. And actually, the funny thing was, my car didn't work, like somehow on this parking spot. So I prayed and I said, God, what should I do? Like, what to do? And he was kind of answering me 2 minutes after. And then a car drove by. A man came out and he said, can I help you? Just right away, he went to my car, said, can I help you? I was like, yes, I need help with this. He was sitting in my car saying, no problem, I will fix it. Saying, Father, Papa, come. And the father was pushing the car and it drove again. And it was kind of a symbol for me because I'm very connected with my car at this point. And he told me it's the battery, and I could go to a place of a friend of him to fix the battery. And the battery is kind of the fire, the aliveness of the car, So this is actually also in the same night when my battery was changed in the car, I made my decision to give my life Christ. So that was the night when I prayed, Jesus, I want your heart I want you to live in my heart. I want to give you my life, surrender it. Please take over, have your way. I'm fully yours. And yes, and this happened this night. It was kind of, I have to say, not just such an easy prayer. It was kind of more a spiritual battle this night. But Jesus, of course, won, as he always does. And I woke up as a newborn person, really having a rebirth, really being new. I felt kind of this immense joy in heaven, like the angels rejoicing. And yeah, from that day on, I visited my father and my Catholic grandmother. We had a kind of fest like celebration. And then I went back to Berlin, my hometown. And yeah, since that time, it's 14 months, and he guided me to really find peace with my roots again. So I now live again in Berlin. He guided me to stay there, to build up a new life. And it's just miraculous. Like this 40 months were I can honestly say, the best time in my whole life. I'm just filled with so much joy and freedom, which I was always seeking my whole life. There's just this trust, this love that is never leaving me alone. And like, not just in the inside, he rebuilt everything, like really giving me a new heart, really healing my self-worth, really freeing me from all this demonic influences I was connected to, and really giving me this peace that I was always seeking in meditation. I could just have it by praying to him now. And yeah, I have now really built up a new life. I have a beautiful church I'm going to. I have wonderful friends, and I'm dancing a lot. I'm dancing for him now as worship dance. And yes, it's just so much purpose, so much joy in living with him. And I have to say, it's wonderful and crazy. Like, he kind of answered every prayer that I ever did. And even the ones I didn't do, he answered more than I could expect. And I just feel so fulfilled. Really this puzzle piece kind of in my heart that was looking to be filled with the outer kind of recognition and love and belonging. He is now in there in this piece, which is the shape of Jesus Christ, and just filling it, and it's, yeah, I'm really a new person, and just so happy and thankful for his grace, for his mercy, for his love. and for living together with him day by day through his Holy Spirit. And yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Yes, it was a joy, and it's my pleasure. I hope it will find the right persons to hear it.